Many artists seek to capture the movement of the human figure by watching and sketching people as they perform, work, or play. Over 100 years ago, French artist Edgar Degas created painting after painting of his favorite moving subject, ballet dancers. Now, it's one thing to draw or paint a subject that stays still, but to capture a figure in motion, it requires careful observation and study. One way to become familiar with the human figure is to look at an artist's mannequin. This reduces the figure to basic shapes, which are all in correct proportion to one another. If you make a few drawings from some of his positions, you'll soon be able to sketch a believable pose. Another tool to use is a Poseable Stencil, which is hinged so that it can be positioned and then traced. Either of these can be used to create a flat paper doll type cardboard form that can then be formed into a durable piece of sculpture that proportionately describes the movement of the human figure. Now let me show you how to get from here to here. Start with a pencil and outline a pose onto a piece of cardboard, then cut it out. You'll also need to have a piece of heavy cardboard or a block to use as a base. You'll need some paper packing tape and a sponge to wet it. Now the packing tape will do two things. When it's wet, it will make the cardboard pliable so that it can be manipulated. And when it's dry, it will become rigid and it will provide a really good surface for painting. So I've cut the paper off the roll into some smaller strips and squares and a shape that I find most useful, a triangle. I'm going to start by attaching the foot to the base. Now, because my figure will be balancing, I might need to add a little extra cardboard to make it more rigid. But for now, I'm just going to apply one piece of tape at a time. Each piece, of course, needs to be wet on the sponge and then smoothed as tightly as possible against the cardboard like this. Now apply them in multiple directions, and that way the support is evenly distributed. All right, now I can apply some larger pieces over the foot supports I just put down, and this will attach it more tightly to the base. Now, if I do need to set the figure aside for some time and come back to it later, I can always balance it against something to hold it in place while it dries. Okay, so here's one that already has just the leg done. You can see that it's had time to dry and it's nice and rigid. Now let me show you how to make some bends in the cardboard. Now these bends really create the movement of the figure. Before the tape dries, the arms, the legs, the hands, the back, the hips, just any part of this can be rolled and bent into a variety of positions. I recommend using at least 2 layers of tape pieces over the entire sculpture. And it's a good idea to do the leg and lower section first and allow it to dry and become rigid, because that gives more support to the top. Make sure it's in the exact position you want it to be, because once it's dry, it can't be repositioned. After a few hours, the tape will set and the sculpture will become fully rigid and ready to decorate. I do recommend coating it first with some white acrylic paint or gesso, because this will create a smoother surface and make the colors a lot more vibrant. You can use acrylics, you can use markers, collage materials, all sorts of things to describe the figure and the base with. I like to use the jazz tempera because it's brilliant, it's glossy, and it's just a lot of fun. Whatever you use, think about how the colors, the lines, the textures, and the patterns can all further illustrate the energy and the flow of your figure in motion. For all of these materials, a printable PDF, and complete National Core Visual Arts standards, visit dickblick.com/lessonplans.